Hi, welcome to the Reach Around. I won't give you one, but we will give you a good show. I'm Guillermo,
I'm Steven.
and we're here to talk about a lot of things involving Reach LA, and for the most part, just have a good time. How are you doing, Steven?
Doing good. It's hump day. We're in the middle of the week. Been pretty slow week, but I'm just waiting for the weekend.
I was really nervous doing this with you. I was like, he's gonna make a lot of innuendos. I didn't think we'd be 10 seconds in.
That was an innuendo? A hump day?
Okay, it was more obscure than an innuendo, so it was even more disappointing.
Well, I'm glad I didn't disappoint.
I wanted to talk for a second about what the reach around is going to be. We have a lot of things planned for this. We're going to be talking about a lot of the programming and outreach events that we have going on. Like this Saturday, you can find us at the Leia event at Mi Centro. It's like, what, 10 minutes away from here? Do you know where that is?
Mi Centro?
Yeah.
That's not Center South, is it? No, that's
No,
something completely different.
it's
Yeah.
actually closer than that though.
Okay.
But we're gonna be there for a queer clothing exchange. If y'all want to come and get some really cool clothes. The last time I was there, first of all, free food, really, really
We all
good.
love it.
Yeah, that's the only food I had before we went out for the openness ball, and I was stuffed.
Mm,
It literally was so much food.
nice.
And all free, but you can get some free clothes as well. Bring some clothes to donate if you plan on coming, and then feel free to take as much clothes as you want as well. They're super dope. But we're gonna be there giving out HIV test kits, so make sure you come out and support.
Yeah. Go
Um,
get tested. Know your status.
yes, if you don't want to take an HIV testing kit home, you can always look up Reach LA. Follow us on Instagram at ReachLA_LA, and we can schedule an appointment for you to come get tested here. If you're a part of the demographic, Black, Latine, MSM, trans people, all ages 13 to 35, we can get you a $25 gift card just for coming in and getting tested as well. I wanted to talk about some of the we have scheduled programming throughout the week, which is really exciting. The one that we're about to kind of demo for y'all is called the Mix Up, which Steven does.
Yeah, so I'm the one of the facilitators of the mix up. Our other facilitator, Eric Lewis, he's currently on tour right now, so he's going to be absent for a while. So it's just going to be me holding it down every Monday, and yeah, the mix up is just a space where Black and Brown folk could come in, mix up, and just talk about just different kind of topics. We also open up the space to other people as well. Any kind of self-identifying male, individuals can come in and have free food. We give free pizza, and yeah, we just talk about all kinds of different topics.
How's it going doing that by yourself?
I thought it was going to be a little bit more challenging, only because we have to open the gate. You know how we have to open the gate for people to
Oh
come
my
up to our,
god.
and the controller's a little bit broken right now.
If you're watching us and you've come to Reach LA before, thank you for supporting and thank you for watching. But when people call and like to open the gate, it can be really frustrating. I found myself
Right.
yelling yesterday. Why can't people just show up at the same time?
Right. And it makes it even harder because we would just be able to open the gate from the office, but now we actually have to walk out to the parking lot and open the gate. So it's a little harder doing it with one person, but I mean, the group is a lot of fun. Everybody always comes in with high energy, wanting to go ahead and talk about, some of the topics that we're talking about. And a lot of people share really cool experiences where we can like learn from one another.
It
So
can
I
be a
love
lot of
it.
fun. Yeah, we have free food too.
Yeah, it's mostly pizza. Pizza Hut, our sponsors. Pizza. I'm just kidding.
Panda
No,
Express.
Panda
We have a
Express.
sordid history with Panda Express.
Right,
We
right.
try, but they're always late. But they cancel your order a
They
lot.
cancel your order a lot. Like it can be, we make an order for 6:45 for the food to get here, and at like 6:30 they'll hit us up and be like, "Hey, surprise! We canceled your order. You know, figure it out." So
But
yeah,
that we found out that's because you ordered through DoorDash and it doesn't work. Did I ever tell you
is it
about
because of
how
DoorDash?
upset I am with DoorDash?
Oh,
But just like in general,
I'm upset with all the services,
well,
but
it's a pet peeve of mine and it's entirely irrational. I don't know
mhm.
why, but I get really, really mad when a DoorDash like driver calls me
Why?
because they can't like find my address. I
Okay.
don't know why. It fills me with rage. I will literally be sitting there waiting for my food.
It's a
And
Gemini in
you
you.
know how, yeah. And you know how like comes up in the caller ID?
Right.
I get so irritated that I have to talk to them.
At least they're telling you that they're like trying to look for your place to drop off your food. They could just drive off with your
It's
food.
not that hard to find. They could, but then I get a refund. But it's not that hard to find, and they always end up going like around the corner to this gated community that is just not where I live. and I
Right.
just have to explain to
I
them
mean,
to
when
go in the
people
corner.
always come here to drop off food, they always kind of go on our other street. You know how like
Yeah.
they go on Olympic or
Mhm.
not Olympic. I'm sorry, Hemlock.
Mhm.
When they should actually be at Birch. That's where we're located. The entrance is at Birch. So yeah, no, that kind of pisses me off because it's just like I have to talk to them. And I have to let them know, like, no, it's not that street. It's the other street. So yeah, I
They're
get
really
you
they
though.
can be really aggravating.
I get you.
All right, so like we were mentioning, Steven does the mix-up. I also do gamer night every Wednesday. It's a little less organized, I would say, than the mix-up. People just show up and we play a bunch of video games, which is really cool.
What's
And
your
we
favorite game that y'all play on Gamer Night?
I like when we play Smash Bros because it gets really competitive,
Of
especially
course.
okay, listen, I'm good at Smash Bros.
Are you?
Yes,
So then why didn't you win that tournament?
because I wasn't allowed to compete.
Okay.
Okay, we had a Smash Bros.
That's why he didn't
We had
win.
a Smash Bros. Tournament recently, and I wasn't allowed to compete because we were giving away some really sick prizes.
Like what?
The Mega Man helmet was dope.
The Mega Man helmet was dope. I
It
loved it.
it like lights up and everything too, but we didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because
okay.
the winner never posted it or anything, but I was so mad because I wanted to see it light up.
Right.
And I didn't want to take it out of the box either. I wanted it because
Right,
it
because
was
you're
like a
giving it to
collector's
somebody.
item too. So
Oh, you know that thing's staying in the box then.
yeah, I
At
feel
least it should.
depending on who won it, I would personally wear it, but if I were a collector of things and I, like my roommate,
Hmm.
he would put it like up on a shelf and just leave it there,
Right.
never touching it.
Well, that's how it gains value.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty expensive too. We didn't buy it. It was like donated to us, but it
And
was
thanks
really
for the
dope.
donation, by the way.
Yeah, World 8, they were great. They sponsored the Smash Bros tournament. Uh, but we have another one coming up, so I'll let y'all know about that when we get a little closer to it. Hopefully, we get some more prizes, but we've had to delay because we have this new space which we're recording in right now. It's called the Den or the Ken Den,
Nobody calls it the Kendo.
the Barbie Dream House. I can't call it that because EJ's not here.
I know, because your other Barb isn't here.
It's okay. He'll
I'll
come
be
back.
your stand-in Barb.
You don't have the range.
What do you mean I don't have the ring?
If I were to throw out a random Nikki line, what's the probability of you picking it up?
Well, give me one right now.
Oh, don't put me on the spot.
Okay,
We don't have the rights to that. This is going on Spotify and everything. Nikki's gonna sue us.
But then you'll meet her in court.
Hold on, I'm thinking. Wait, that could be it.
Yeah.
That could be how we meet Nicki Minaj.
In court. Love it. She's suing you for
She would
using
look
her
so
stuff.
good.
She would.
I
She
hope
always does.
I hope she has like a straight wig on. Anyways, this isn't the Nikki Power Hour. It will be when EJ comes back and we have a whole new segment. Let us know if that's something you guys want because we'll do it. I'm more than happy to do it.
And I won't be in for that one.
You'll be as far away as possible. All right, but I did want to jump into. So we did the mix up. We have the gamer night, but I did want to jump into a demo of the mix up. So
Yeah.
when this episode comes out in the following week, we will be having the mix up on the topic of
The law of attraction.
yeah. So that's kind of what we want to talk about today, since that's what we had planned. Excuse us for the multitude of different tangents that we're going to go on,
Yeah.
mostly Nikki related or Gaga related.
I go on a lot of tangents. Probably my
Um,
ADHD, but yeah.
So why did y'all choose the law of attraction for the mix up topic?
We wanted to incorporate some kind of spirituality topic. I think that that's one topic that's been really lacking in the mix up. We talk a lot about like family, friends, past trauma, sexual stuff as well, like about like, cruising culture, the importance of getting tested and whatnot. So we wanted to really just bring in a diverse topic where people could talk about a side that they don't really talk about, and it's spirituality. So we wanted to talk about like how positive thoughts can bring about positive things in your life, but as well as like negative thoughts can bring negative things into your life, and that's kind of like the basis of the law of attraction.
We sat down to talk about it, and that's not at all what I had pictured for the law of attraction. I'm just like, what are you attracted to? What do you find hot?
Oh, like sexually or like
Yeah, or
yeah,
personality wise.
or personality
So I was
wise.
getting in here ready to ask you, like, what are you attracted to? Which, like, anything with a pulse.
Right. Well, I mean, I like to find the beauty in everybody. So I'm
Anything
attracted
with
to
a pulse.
everybody and anything with a pulse. Let me feel your pulse.
Okay, well, let's if you want, we can dive into the spirituality side of it, but we can also talk about like that first part too.
Yeah.
Like I said, we are an HIV testing site too, so
Right.
everything you'll excuse us. It can be a little. We're very sex positive. We're not gonna gross everyone out, and
Of course not.
Steven will refrain as much as he can.
as much as I can. And I think it's important to like kind of emphasize just like our approach of like sex positivity because you know, just allowing yourself to be free and okay in your own skin to explore these sexual feelings that you want, it really helps eliminate a lot of the stigma that kind of revolves around people like getting them scared to go out and get tested and whatnot. So that's kind of my mentality behind it. You know, it's just be free, be open, you know?
Sorry.
Free woman. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The look that you gave me right there, I knew exactly where you were
That's a
going.
lyric.
It
Did you ever
is.
listen to the demo of Free Woman?
I didn't. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I
Okay,
did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It
I'm
was
gonna email
great.
it to you. It's better
Eh,
than the original.
I like the original.
You're so wrong.
The original just had a way
Listen,
in my
I love
heart.
Gaga, but something about like she has it. The Free Woman on Chromatica just kind of gives me like Calvin Harris, EDM,
Right. No, I could feel that.
and
And I
that's
think
not
that's why I like
her.
it because I just remember listening to Calvin Harris like a lot when I was in high school.
Did.
I was that, yeah, I was that gay. So,
I don't really care for him too much.
you know,
He's kind of hot.
uh,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay, so
that I'm
clearly
not gonna agree with you on
I'm
that
anything
one.
with a pulse now.
Right. Does he have a pulse? I'm just kidding. But no, actually, one thing that I wanted to bring about like the law of attraction, you talking about Gaga that I thought was funny, is how you were manifesting the Chromatica tour for like years. I haven't like I've only known you since July, but since July, since the day I met you, it's like, oh my God, I can't wait for the Chromatica tour.
Okay, so let's
And
talk about this.
okay,
Chromatica came out 2 years ago.
it did.
And then the tour was supposed to happen, and then COVID happened. So it got delayed twice. This is her third time announcing it.
And it's not gonna be delayed this time.
And for months, like again, so we both started working here in July. I have been, if not daily, saying like Chromatica's coming. Chromatica, the tour is gonna happen. And Steven has consistently said, no, like you gotta let it go. It's a pipe
Yep.
dream at this point. But I didn't let go. And I manifested.
And look at where you're gonna be in
And I was mad that
September.
you got your tickets before me. After all that, after all that disbelief you had in Stephanie Germanotta.
The disbelief that I had in Mother Monster was more of just like I was preparing for disappointment. And I just originally when she even came out with the date, she wasn't even gonna be in Los Angeles. So I was just like, how am I gonna be able to like afford to go fly out to go see her?
Which you're doing now.
Which I am doing now
Going to
because
Chicago.
budgeting saved my life, and we'll be talking about that in another mix-up.
Is that already planned out?
I could plan it.
Okay,
A
so
financial literacy, but you know that's kind of how the topics for mix-up always come about. Like I'm just talking with some people and it's like, hey, that's a good topic. We should bring it in. So, but yeah, no, I budgeted for it, and I'm gonna be going to go see her in Chicago.
I've only been to Chicago once, and it was maybe a year before we started here. I drove through it, and it wasn't my favorite experience. I don't know. It was hot. Finn, my dog, was having a great time.
Oh,
And
we love Finn.
do we?
I do because of what he did.
Oh my God. Stop. Finn went number 2 on my carpet, and then the Roomba ran it over, and Steven's been laughing about it since.
Because like I'm sure he did it on purpose.
Yeah.
And that's what I love.
Here's
He
the
wanted to
thing.
make your life harder, and he did.
I've been scared of that happening for ever since we got the Roomba.
Right.
Because I'm not home a lot, and Finn has a lot of accidents. He's been really good lately.
Okay.
Ever since then, because I was so mad at him. I don't think I've ever been mad at him. But the
Right.
way that we were both in my room, because he had already pooped in the living room before that, and then he came up to my room and we're laying there. And the way that I went to the bathroom, I'm on the second floor, and it's just like a little hallway stairs, and then
Right.
the living room and everything. The way that I opened the door and it just smelled like poop. The whole house. I knew
He went
immediately.
in.
I knew
He went
immediately
in
what had
on that.
happened. I knew immediately. It was disgusting.
And that's what I love about it too. Is just like we have technologies. Like, oh yeah, technology is gonna make things easier for us until they go over some poop and then spread it around the whole entire house.
I literally spent a week cleaning the Roomba.
Yeah.
Luckily, the Roomba had most of it on it.
Okay.
Did I ever tell you though how I feel like Finn has manifested in my life?
Oh, this is good. How?
Okay, so I went back to Ohio in 2019. Plot twist, I'm from Ohio, I know.
We're sorry about that, by the way.
I had a mullet like a couple months ago, so I feel like if I still had that, it'd be easier to believe. And for those what they're listening to on Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, whatever it may be, these are also we're gonna have video on YouTube, so you can definitely see our gorgeous faces.
Yeah.
Well, mine.
Oh, okay. There it
And
is.
so I did have a mullet about a month ago, I would say, yeah.
Mhm.
And I wanted to get rid of it because me season, it's a new
Right.
time, and also it's getting hot, and it was just not fun.
Right.
But what was I saying with this?
The way you,
Finn.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
Finn.
so I'm from Ohio. I went back in 2019 for a year, and I wanted a dog, but I wanted a big dog.
Okay.
And this was like a new like spiritual journey for me at that point too. And since then, Finn has like he's given me a lot of stress, but I also feel like he takes on a lot of the stress.
Right.
But my mom's a housekeeper.
Okay.
So she was cleaning this like apartment building and everything.
Uh-huh.
And one day someone had gotten evicted. And
Oh.
Finn, he's small. He's dense though. Like,
Okay.
he's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And he knows how to throw his weight around. But he was tied up in the lobby. Yeah, they had left him there. And the owner of the building was saying to my mom because she asked, yeah, they were supposed to come back for him yesterday, and they
And they
never did,
didn't.
and they didn't. So he was just gonna
Ah.
like let Finn loose out in the streets of Cleveland. And as someone who's been let loose on the streets of Cleveland, that's nowhere for anyone to be,
Right.
especially Finn. He's so tiny and he's too
Right.
aggressive. He would have tried to fight everybody, and he wouldn't have
So
won.
what's the difference? Continue.
Our personalities are a lot more alike than I would like. care
Right.
to
So you
admit.
were a match made in heaven.
Yeah, but he's so frustrating. He's like the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
But the best.
I love him. I saw a meme on Twitter that was like, you know that the one where it's a guy at the corner of a party holding a cup,
Oh yeah.
and it's like
They
they
don't
don't know.
know. Yeah.
And then
XYZ.
it was it's a picture of two dogs or two cats, and it's like they don't know they're my reason for living. That's also how I feel.
That is true. No, dogs are definitely
Yeah,
the reason to live.
but I definitely because I remember waking up one morning and hearing him running around chasing my other dog, and then my mom was gonna like give him another home. That's what my mom does. I don't know why.
Right.
She takes in strays and gives them somewhere. But something about Finn, I said I'm gonna keep him.
Mm-hmm.
And I named him Finn after the Adventure Time character. And when
Your favorite.
when he passed, I love Adventure Time. When he passes,
Mm-hmm.
Finn is a reincarnation of that meteor. So whatever dog I get next, it will be named aptly. So it's going to be named after one of Finn's reincarnations
Oh,
or something that Finn
cute.
has been reincarnated from.
Nice. I love how you're like keeping that storyline
Oh yeah,
going,
definitely.
especially with your dog in your life.
Oh yeah, he like I said, I love him, but he's the worst.
So that's one cool positive thing that you've manifested in your life.
Yeah.
I would say so. A dog's positive. If you want or if you can you share like an experience of like a negative, manifestation?
Yeah. Um, I started working at Reach and was like, "Oh my god, everything's great," and then Steven showed up. So I think
Yes, I am the worst.
I was looking for a negative thing. It was too good to be true. No, I honestly, even as simple as we were talking a couple weeks ago, maybe even last week. I started off the week very bitter about
Mhm.
a lot of things.
You were a little off your game.
Yeah, and it really like I put myself in that mindset so early on in the week
Right.
that the rest of the week ended up being awful.
Right.
And by Friday, I was so burnt out.
Oh, and see, that's like the thing that like I want to emphasize, especially on this upcoming topic, is just like when you go into a week having these negative thoughts and just really just negative self-talk, even it's going to set the tone for your week. So, on Sunday, it could be even good to just start journaling some things about what you're grateful for, what you're excited for, what you want for the week. And yeah, just start bringing in the good vibes and blocking out the bad ones. So, for example, I think one thing that I've noticed in myself that I really wanted to change. Um, I used to have a really bad relationship with money. I mean, I still do. I've learned how to budget a little bit better, but I still do. And I think a big part of that growing up was just I always kind of hated money. Believe it or yeah, I know, right? But it's just like they say money is the root of all evil, and it's
I thought
just
that was
like,
greed.
well, yeah, greed,
I'm not yes
for money,
anding very well with you.
like greed and money. So I just always thought like I wanted to put my focus and my energy into a lot of other things, like helping people. I've really put in my time for helping people, and that's how I got this job at Reach LA. The universe is like, oh, you like helping people? Well, you know, here's this job. For money though, I just always had this bad relationship with it, and it's just like I'm like, why am I not getting any money? So now that I've really just kind of changed my perception of it and just trying to like say like I'm deserving of this. My skills are being put to work at my job, and I'm doing good. I deserve financial compensation for it. I feel like I have made more money in my life now than I've had in the past, and I'm just keeping that good vibe going because you get paid.
I would okay, yeah, capitalism is let's say,
uh, yeah,
which involves greed and money.
that's a different topic. But yeah,
I
no,
would love
yeah,
to
fuck
talk about that one
capitalism.
day. We'll get into it because that's deserving of its own episode.
It is, and we'll
Um,
get there.
I was thinking the shitty week thing is like when you hear about like a negative movie because we were just talking about we saw the Batman.
Right,
And my roommate that had seen it already, he went with us again. He likes to have people form their own opinions on films and everything.
as one
So
should.
when he said that it was good, I was a little taken aback because I thought he would give me more than that. And then when I went to go watch it, me and my friend Henry were like, "That was amazing. It was
Right.
great."
Was it because of Robert Pattinson?
It was at least because of his eye makeup.
Okay.
I loved his eye makeup in it.
Taking us back to our middle school days.
Well, I'm starting to do it now. I'm from Ohio. I didn't put eye makeup on in middle school.
You're right.
That would have been awful.
That would have been
They were
fun.
already calling me Queermo.
Queermo.
That's a cute name now. I
It
think about
is.
it
It is.
because I don't know, it's cute.
It is.
But if I would have put on eye makeup back then, it would have been the end. I will say though, the eye makeup was cool, but when he took off the mask and he was all sweaty and it was like drenching a little bit, that's what it was giving for me. Yeah, it was dope. Emo little Robert Pattinson.
Oh my god! It was giving me Gerald away. Chemical Romance.
Celestial said the same thing.
Because it was.
Also, I mentioned Celestial. Her and Sandy are going to be taking the mics next after us for Petals.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be cute. We'll give you more on that later. They have their time. But I brought it up because I thought he was kind of letting us like I guess manifest our own idea of it because
right.
Afterwards, after we had watched it, it was really really good.
Right. No, it was a great movie. I like the originality that Matt Reeves wanted to go, especially kind of staying true to the comics itself. So yeah, I really like the direction that they took, especially with the Riddler. The Riddler was terrifying on screen.
I don't want to give away any spoilers.
Right.
It
Yeah.
just came out.
It totally just came out. So we're not going to be doing spoilers. We're not going to spoil the Batman on our first episode. But if you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Yeah. Back towards like manifestation. I also want to say okay, so I mean I've already talked about how gorgeous I am a couple times. But and I'll always talk about it more. I have a Leo moon, y'all. Well, she's gonna show up a lot. For me, when I first started noticing the law of attraction in my daily life, so college was college, but I wasn't really like focused on myself in the way that I am now, which is a little self-obsessed. I'm not gonna lie. It can be.
We need that sometimes, though.
I feel like sometimes I need to dial it back.
Right.
Don't agree with that.
You need to gas yourself up sometimes because if nobody else is going to, you got to do it yourself,
But after college, I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened. I can't even like pinpoint a date. I just know I was working at AMC at the time, the movie theater, the worst job ever. You had to wear like ugly non-slip shoes. It wasn't fun.
I hate non-slip shoes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But something clicked in me that I started to realize my own beauty and attractiveness, and I kind of just like ran with it.
Right.
And it didn't. Okay, this sounds cheesy. Like it made everything better.
Right.
In the sense that I don't know. I just felt like that's when I decided to move back to Ohio, which in hindsight, I don't regret. Don't get me wrong. But it wasn't where I needed to be, but I definitely needed to go back to know that. And then I started working like a real job there, and that's when I finally like realized that I deserved better than working at AMC. But 50% off concessions and unlimited free movies is really nice too.
Yeah, like it has its perks, but you needed to get out of there. You did.
Yeah. But I started bartending there too, which was really cool.
Oh, nice. So you're gonna make me a drink?
No. We have to still plan that movie night out.
We do.
AJ's
What was
gone
it?
now.
Train to Busan Part 2? I haven't seen it yet,
We'll
but
we'll
I think
manifest
it'd be
that. We'll
really
manifest that in the future.
but one thing that you did bring up though that I thought that was really cool is just like how you said that you started like like believing more that you were attractive and everything, and then that just goes back to the actual concept of um the law of attraction and just talking good about yourself. Again, it's gonna make you feel good about yourself. So don't think that like you're going over the top or anything. Like shit, hype yourself up.
I'm obsessed with myself.
People are
uh,
just obsessed with me.
all right. Well, I think I want to start wrapping up the mix up because we want to give enough time to our next guest.
Oh
So,
yeah, for sure.
uh,
This was a lot of fun.
this
It was
was a
my
lot of
first time
fun.
doing something like this, and I can't
Mhm.
wait to do more episodes.
It's definitely really unique, to cis presenting men with microphones. You don't see that a lot.
Not at all.
And I'm sure that we've covered everything that everyone needs to say at all times. But
All
just
right.
in case that's not true, we have another segment coming up, like I said, Petals, which is going to be very different from this, similar in setup and design, but different in perspective. So stick around for that.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sandy. I'm the hostess of Petals.
My name is Celestial Moreno Luz, pronounced she, her, ella, and I'm the program manager at Reach LA.
And so today we're just going to talk about what Petals is, why it was created, and the different topics that have come up out of this new community group. So Petals, there's a little subtitle called so it's Petals, Lesbian and Sapphic Brave Space. The way that it came about sort of was that I was inviting some of my friends to Reach LA events and activities, and they were saying to me like, oh, we really love Reach LA and it's a lot of fun, and like, no offense to some of the groups or anything, but it would really be nice to have a space that was dedicated towards more people like me. And so that being said, one of my friends who is a cis lesbian, and another one of my friends who is a sapphic non-binary person, we kind of just got together and thought about what are some ways that we can make this group really fun and pertaining to this type of community. So not only is it a lesbian and sapphic brave space, but it's a lesbian, sapphic, BIPOC safe space, and I wanted to be really intentional about it being exclusively for Black, Latinx, Asian, Indigenous, and otherwise people of color. Just because in Los Angeles, even a lot of the lesbian or sapphic designated clubs or events or activities or community groups are predominantly cis and white. And I felt as though they didn't really encompass like the nuances of what this community would entail. I think it's a really common misperception that my group is a women's group, and so I want to make that distinction that it's not. It's a lesbian and sapphic group, and even with like the term lesbian and the history of it, right? There's gay women, of course, and there's queer women, but there's also a whole generation. Both elder and young and current that are trans masc that still identify within lesbianism, right? And I don't think that I think it would be a disservice to just call it a women's group because it's a little too simple. And nothing about queerness or anything is like necessarily easy to understand. Well, some of it is where it's like you just want to get together with people who are like you and have a good time. But yeah, so I I really love it. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of intentionality behind the work you're doing with the group Petals. And I think when you even proposed this kind of space at the organization, I was so on board and so excited to just see this kind of space forming, not just within Reach LA, like, yes, of course, I Reach LA, but just within the city of Los Angeles, particularly because this is no disservice or discredit to organizations in Los Angeles, but I have heard and seen some very foul things about how the deprioritization of lesbian and sapphic spaces is happening within our climate here, right?
Mhm.
And so I have heard from friends before just say things about their workspace, right? When there was a conversation about having a women's group or a lesbian group, right? Yours is particularly different because it caters to lesbian and sapphic folk, so like cis and non-cis people. But even a conversation about having a women's group gets shut down so quickly because of a oversaturation and also kind of this weird commitment to only uplift men, right? And only uplift men and not necessarily any other identity that falls in that spectrum. So I thought it was really important to have this kind of space. And, you know, I wanted to talk a little bit about your recent topic, right? You had a topic called lesbophobia, right? And sort of like how lesbophobia shows up in nonprofit spaces. And I think that sort of like alludes to what I was saying about a deprioritization of identities other than like cis gay men. I'm really happy that at Reach LA, at least we have a clear conscience and a commitment to dismantle that framework, because it's just, let's face it, like it's an evolving time. There's just no way that like communities can only be centered around men, and I'm really appreciative of folks here at Reach because we're dismantling that. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about like lesbophobia and how did your group at Petals receive that?
Yeah. The topic came about just because I like to ask my community members what it is they want to talk about every month. It helps me just generate some new ideas. And this was someone recommended this topic to talk about the erasure of lesbian and sapphics from LGBT spaces in general. So of course there's that in the context of nonprofits and organizations, that also exists in the context of entertainment, media, social life, all of that kind of stuff. And kind of like one of the biggest like basic questions that we started with was like, okay, so why Petals? Like, what do you enjoy about it, right? Or sort of, you know, reiterating like why this space is important to us. And then that kind of evolved into like, is there an inherent difference between a lesbian bar and a gay bar? Or how come you don't see lesbians going to gay bars, right? And the lesbian spaces that do exist, why are they failing or disappearing even? So I don't know. I guess I would start by saying a lot of places in the first place don't really... I mean, I think at the heart of it, it's all misogyny, right? Like, I think it's just like not acknowledging women to be a part of LGBT community. And that even extends to the way that we think about trans women, where it's like, oh, yes, this space is for MSM or this space is for cis queer men. Oh, and trans women, I guess. You know, it's always like an afterthought, right? It's never a dedicated space for those women. And on the other hand, too, for sort of like different... I think it's like people are very confused about gender and sexuality. And I think even within queer spaces, they're confused of like, oh, well, are you a butch dyke? Or are you a trans man, right? Are you, how can you be gay if you present as femme and you look like a straight girl, right? And it's an issue even within like the lesbian community of like, you have to present a certain way to like prove some sort of outward appearance of queerness, you know, which... who's to say? But I think that for a lot of my community members, there is sort of a lack of safety that they feel in predominantly male spaces as a result of various violences, as well as like a lack of safety that they feel even in Sapphic, the majority of Sapphic spaces, because they are so white and cis-normative. And so, you know, within my group, it just kind of happened this way, I guess, that a lot of them, there's a whole diversity in even within my group, right? There's me, of course, like cis queer women. There is like non-binary folks, there are trans women, there are trans masc folks in that. And there's no one type of way that Sapphism looks. And that has been, you know, really fun. And we all get along and we all feel like we still are a part of the same community, even though we look totally different. And I think that there is, I don't know, I guess just like there's there's another intersection to this community that I feel like is really critical in the way that we hold space for each other and the kinds of conversations that we're able to have and what we're all learning from each other. Because I mean, a lot of it even is like, okay, to dismantle gender, to dismantle sexuality, you also have to dismantle race and what all of this means. And so none of these things are things that we can really, you know, escape from.
Right.
So you have to face it head on and do the work. Do the work.
And that's on colonization, right? These complexities of gender, race, sexuality. And I think you touched on a beautiful thing, right? It's kind of this retraction and reduction of cisnormativity and making sure that we're not necessarily always conflating gender and sexuality, but recognizing the intersections of them both. And like what you brought up earlier, right? Like Petals is a brave and safe space for folks of lesbian and sapphic experience, right? There are trans women who are either lesbian, sapphic, maybe even both, right? And then these trans women oftentimes get violented by cis women, right? And so these particular spaces are important because then it's like, this is a safe space for trans women as well.
Right.
I have heard very transphobic things along the lines of it's like, well, if you're transitioning, a trans woman is existing, right? And you're still dating women, then like, what was the point of you transitioning? And I think that's very violent. Like, I don't think that people are aware of how a commitment to cis normativity lives in our minds because of colonization and because of the ways that we were taught gender or sexuality is supposed to be. So I think that's really brilliant that this kind of space is forming within Reach LA and sort of spearheaded by yourself.
Thank you. I guess I would say like, I think that the distinction between a safe space and a brave space has been on my mind a lot about taking a safe space and then empowering it. And that's something that I learned from Dr. Nate on Twitter,
Come on,
who
Dr.
was a
Nate.
presenter at the NASM conference that we attended. But thinking of the ways that make us a brave space unique and really special and actually effective, right, and sustainable. I don't think it's enough to take a space and just find, you know, different identities and just try to put them in a room together. Like that's never going to work. And so, for example, you get a lesbian space and then all of a sudden there are all of these issues with like racism and transphobia. You take a queer space and there are these issues of like misogyny and still racism and still transphobia, all of these things. And so even in the conversation that I had on Monday about the topic of like lesbophobia, somehow we ended up where I was just saying like, I don't really care for being in spaces that are just designated for women or being in spaces that are just designated for even like Asian people, right? I've often been invited to so-called safe spaces and found myself just completely like mind-bogglingly bored of like the kinds of conversations we're having, where I was like, this is meant to be radical, right? Like this is meant to be contributing to something or creating some sort of intervention in society, and we're still on the same like shallow ass topics from like 2000. Like there are just some things where I'm like, we're past asking what is the point of this, or we're past asking what is that, or what does this mean, or da 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 da. So I was sort of saying like, in my intention in creating Petals, it's a call to a certain set of politics. And if you don't hold those like politics like near and dear to you, then you're probably not gonna get what you want out of this space really. And it's not for everybody, but at the same time, there's a lot of different spaces that are. And, you know, the whole point of Petals is not to be, it's to be inclusive of people who have been excluded elsewhere.
Inclusive, but exclusive, right? Only because of a formation of bravery and a formation of a space that's safe, right? Not necessarily to exclude folks, but more like to intentionally bring folks together to uplift one another in these complexities.
Right. And I just feel like we're a little bit far along in the types of conversations that we're able to have. Not to say that new people can't come in or anything. We do all the time.
Right.
But for example, like my space is not for someone to come in and for a cis woman to come in and be like, I've been dating my cis boyfriend for 13 years, but I think I'm a little bi-curious. Could you tell me more about what that is? And it's like, I've been asked before if those types of folks are allowed to come in here. I'm like, allowed is not really like the question. Like, I'm not going to say no or kick anybody out for like something as simple as that.
Sure.
But it's just more like, well, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about men right now.
Right.
We're not talking about men in Petals right now.
You said something simple, but also like I think simple is like kind of giving that person grace, right? Because it's more pervasive. And the reason why I say pervasive is because even like a culture of like social media, a culture of like industry has really just commodified and also create a dehumanization of like the sexuality of women and the sexuality of Sapphic folks.
Right.
That like queer sexuality, when it comes from these identities, are meant to be fetishized, are meant to be explored in a way that is self-serving, but all these people deserve their humanity, right?
Right. And I think like a lot of people can't fathom what role any kind of woman would have in sex if they aren't being violated. And so I feel like a lot of people wonder like, I mean, there's that question of like, oh, well, what sex for like, you know, what does sex look like if there's no dick involved, right? Like that's so basic or whatever. But then also it's like some girls have dicks, so let's start there. But it's more of like a Sapphic kind of relationship or a Sapphic romance or sexual intimacy and all of that kind of stuff. It's like, I mean, you would hope that it is kind of like a move away towards what we understand like sex to be in any capacity, where it's like it's some, you know, so many people understand sex as like someone something's being taken away from them, right? Or someone's being penetrated or dominated or or like this association that penetration means that like someone has won, right? It's very, you know, very warlike almost. It's like that's not, you know, that's not sexy to me.
Speaking of like even a addition to like more than one, like my partner and I have like 5 dicks, so you know, like we have one in the bedroom, one in the bathroom, one in the drawers by the hallway, you know, like
right. And then even when it comes to like what people are expecting out of sex, I think it's like you can always just communicate with your partner, and you shouldn't assume just on the basis of their physical biology that they aren't able to give you what you're looking for, right? If somebody were to ask me to penetrate them, we can find a way to do that, you know. It's not impossible, but people are just so stuck in their ways of like, oh, if you're lesbian, I know exactly what that's supposed to mean. If you're trans, that I know exactly what that's supposed to mean. But it's a lot more complicated. It's always more complicated. And I think like, I don't know, there's the world's a lot bigger, you know. I think that queerness is such an expansive and imaginative reality that it just doesn't make sense for us to try to imitate, you know, white cis heteronormative structures within queerness. And I know that there are tools that people have in order to like make life easier, right? Like you still live in a society, so doing things to dismantle it is going to be very, very challenging.
Very.
But I think like taking on the challenge is what is exciting.
And, you know, I think that even having Petals as a space, having Petals as a community that exists at Reach LA, and having you contribute to that culture really is like a privilege for us and a privilege for the organization. So I'm excited to see what continues happening at Petals.
Thank you.
And, you know, for our next segment, we have Jamari with 143 Love Lane. Yeah.
Really? Sorry. What the hell? Oh, shit. Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to 143 Love Lane. I'm your host, Jamaria Moore, and
I'm your other host, Jalen Hibbert. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to do this.
No, it's my bad. Jalen Hibbert. It just threw me off. Can we do that again?
Please.
Don't.
Because
This is what happens. So, hey, you guys, welcome to 143 Love Lane with your hosts, me, Jamaria Moore.
And me, Jalen Hibbert.
We're here to talk everything relationship. We're here to talk about everything about relationships and love and how they coexist with each other. Funny story, I met Jalen on Jacked. That's how we met. So Jack does work, you guys. I promise you, Jack does work. You just have to utilize it in the right way. But yes, we met on Jack. Our first date, we watched cartoons in the living room. And that's literally what I told him. I said, you can come over and watch cartoons with me. Don't be trying to get up in my panties. And he was like, I don't want to get up in your panties. I want to watch cartoons with you. So we ended up watching cartoons. It was actually kind of cute.
And here we are.
9 years later. So I repeat, Jack does work, you guys. I guess with love, like what makes you, I don't want to say love me because that's not fair. But like what makes you love? Like in like your friends or just your family, like what makes you know like that you love them?
That's a good question. I feel like for me, when I know that I love someone or someone loves me, it shows. Like the little things, like catering to someone's love language. Like if someone likes affection, then be that for them. If someone likes gift, I don't really like giving gifts, but catering to that side of them. But also I just feel like I love hard, so I don't really throw the love word out for like normal people. But when someone gets that title of like, oh, I love you or I have love for you, then that means that I care for you deeply. I care enough to cater to the way that you want to be treated. Not that I don't try to do that for everybody, but I go out of my way to cater to that person. And I feel like people do the same, at least as far as like emotions go, trying to make sure that people that you love and care for are happy and satisfied emotionally in some way, at least.
I think for me, it's a little bit of the opposite. I don't have a problem with expressing how I love people like immediately. I think love is a turn your phone off. Dang, it's always you. But I think love reads differently for me. Love is how people treat me, how I react to them, what they do for me mentally, not just physically. And I think that helps me determine my love for people because I could meet someone today and we click and I could be like, bitch, I love you. And it wouldn't make me feel any type of way because I said it, because like I said, it's how you make me feel and what you do to me mentally that makes me feel like that love. And I think that's why I'm such a loving person. And it's easy for me to just love people because I have no switch for love. Like a lot of people like, well, you got to get to know somebody to tell them you love them. And I think that that's so dumb because when you're a kid and you made friends, like immediately at preschool, like you were like, I love you. Like you didn't think about it. And I guess as people get older, they feel like they put a light switch to it to where like I have to be able to like wait to turn that switch on versus like once I meet you, I love you. My love with you was really fast. Like the fact that you came to my house when I was living with my nana and sat in the living room and watched cartoons with me, like it was dope. It was not often that people get to connect like that, especially on the first date. Their first minds is always thinking with the other head and not the one on their shoulders. So to just hang out and get my little mwah when you left, it was kind of cool. So that part just made me love you a little bit more because it was just different to be able to, be with somebody without having to like be with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing, like when it comes to relationships, like what is a deal breaker for you, like in a relationship?
A deal breaker for me is, that's kind of hard. I feel like it's hard for me because I don't have many deal breakers. I feel like I'm a very like flexible type of person. I feel like I try to no, fuck it. A deal breaker for me
What?
is just honesty. Not being able to be honest with one another is a deal breaker, because if you can't be transparent, if you can't be honest, then I feel like that just sets up the foundation in the relationship. So honesty is definitely a deal breaker for me. What about you?
Someone who can't be themselves. Like I don't have a problem with a little white lie every now and again. Of course, honesty is key, but just someone who can't comfortably be themselves is annoying to me. I can't be with someone that isn't okay with not only me being myself, but them being themselves as well. Because it's weird to be with somebody and like you're one way around your friends and your family, and then you're another way around me, and then you're another way around your homeboys, and then it's just I feel like I'm dating multiple people versus just being with one person that can be themselves wholeheartedly around everyone that they're with. And I think that is one of the most like stupidest deal breakers in the world for me. But being able to see you in your atmosphere and not be comfortable with other people in that same atmosphere is like, ugh, never mind. I'm good. Nice meeting you though. Cause I don't know. I just think I'm so comfortable with myself, and I get it. A lot of people don't understand themselves yet. And getting to know yourself, you find different things about yourself that you like or you don't like. And I feel like giving people that time to do that is good, but at the same time, like if you're not willing to at least try to be yourself around everybody else, it's weird.
That makes sense. You want your partner to be authentically themselves.
Yeah. I think that's just weird in anything, any like friendship or relationship when someone can't be themselves. I feel like being friends with chameleons is hard work. And I don't like to work hard, especially if I don't need to. So like working hard to like adjust to everybody's surroundings around me is kind of like weird. So that is just not good. Um as far as relationships, like well, that's a dumb question because I'm assuming I'm the longest relationship you've had. But the relationship prior to me, like what was your longest relationship?
This 9-year relationship is definitely the longest relationship I've ever been in. If I was in a long-winded relationship before that, then we'd be talking about adolescence. But the longest relationship other than this one has been no longer than a year, a couple of months. What about you? It's the longest relationship you've been in.
I've only been in two relationships, so you were the second one, so you were definitely the longest. But the one before that was a year, with Red. That was the longest relationship I've had. I've dated a lot, a whole lot, but I was not prone to jumping into relationships because I was younger and relationships just not was something that I wanted. I was fast.
So let's expand on that. What does dating a lot mean?
Exactly what I said. Dating a lot. Don't ask no questions. I tell you no lies. No, dating. I literally dated a lot. I was a go-go dancer. I started go-go dancing at a very young age. I was also like in and out of New York, so I have this thing for Puerto Rican boys.
Ooh.
So yeah, I couldn't pick one, so I just dated them left and right, up and down, round and round, back and forth. A lot. I'm not like a whole lot, and it wasn't like a bunch of sex. It was just I was young. I was like a kid in a candy store when it came to men. So like, fine, especially like finally coming out, and it was okay for me to just date men and not have to worry about my family or anybody like shunning me. It was like a kid in a candy store. You're cute. I'm going to talk to you for a little while. And then they do something that pissed me off. And I'm like, I'm over you. You're next. Or, certain deal breakers, like people can't be themselves, or bad breath.
Mm.
Or I have the weirdest things, like people that like walk funny. Yeah, it's really weird. I have really bad hangups with certain things that's really bad. So it was just easy for me to be like, okay, next. So yeah, it was fun though.
You got around. You had your little fun.
Don't say I got around. That sounds like a hoe. Not a hoe.
I didn't say that. You did.
Watch it, bitch. Did you want to ask me, Floozy?
What?
How was dating life before me?
It was fine.
Was it?
Yeah. To be honest, a lot of my dating came from Jack, to be honest, because
Hold on.
before you, I didn't have much of a gay life. So, Jack was my outlet. Other than my gay best friend in high school, I didn't have any other gay people. So, Jack is where I went to network, to meet friends,
Network.
to fuck around.
That's what
It
you
was
call it
it was
these
all
days.
on Jack. Grinder came a little later, but that was just for a quick second. My crowd was on Jack. But so yeah, I didn't do a lot of dating. I did a good amount of little fucking, but not much dating.
Or I didn't do a lot of fucking. I did a lot of oral, not a lot of sex. But
Leave it to you. That's all called dating.
no, it's not. I was still getting to know these people while oral was happening. So that's
What'd you
still
say your
part of
name was
dating.
again?
Oh, you're funny, man, huh? Slut. Whatever.
So, what makes of your two boyfriends, like what makes those people, worthy of being your boyfriend as opposed to the people who you dated?
At the point, when I was dating Red, he took care of me. So
We dropping names.
yeah, why
Mhm.
not? You have a problem with the name? When I was dating Red, he took care of me. He was a provider, and I enjoyed that. And it taught me how to be a provider, not only for like myself, but for my family and stuff. That was fun, I guess, being able to like being kept kind of sort of in a way. Um, and with you, it was just something that naturally happened. We just were friends first. Remember, we didn't even know we were in a relationship until somebody asked us, were we together? So that was a funny story. So it was pretty easy dating you and making you my boyfriend because it was just out of the blue. And I think it was better because we were friends first. Me and Red had established something versus like just letting it naturally happen like we did. What about the little floozies you were with before me?
I just gravitated towards people that gave me the attention I liked. I'm not gonna lie, there was a couple of like older men that was not worthy, but was giving me like that attention that I liked, just consistent like conversation and stuff like that. But for the most part, I got together with people that were my age that liked the things that I liked. And yeah, we just were able to like rip and run the streets together. One of my boyfriends taught me how to drive, low key. It was cute.
Oh, that's so cute. So pretty much, you guys, our love story goes on, but we cannot go on and on for much longer. But the next time we're here, you're going to hear about our coming out stories and a few other tidbits that we like to, talk about to you people who are listening. You people, that sounds so bad.
That's horrible.
I know, right? But that concludes 143 Love Lane. We're going to tie you guys into Jeremiah at the radio station.
I'm back.
And we're back. Welcome to this segment of which, am I addressing the camera or?
You address who you want to address.
This segment is going to be about la música
I had some ideas.
Oh yeah, what are the ideas? Because
Wait,
that was
well, I
like,
wanted
you
to
know,
talk
I've been
about
working on
the
my
name.
Spanish. but-
Okay, wait. Full transparency,
Mhm.
and I need everybody who's like watching this because I'm the guest in this segment, just like I was with the mix-up. But you won't see me for the next episode.
You
You're
just
gonna,
became the guest.
yeah, you're gonna have another.
So I'm
Reach LA.
hosting?
You're hosting. Is that on your grinder, bro? You're
I'm not on Grinder.
You're
I'm
not
on the other
Grindr.
ones except Grinder. I'm always hosting. I don't have a car.
I've heard of new ones from y'all. You and Steven be talking about these apps and websites. I'm like, what's that one?
Yeah.
I'm innocent.
There's Grubhub, Postmates,
DoorDash. I made this joke earlier, but it bears repeating. The world needed two Geminis with two
Bears
microphones.
repeating. Sorry.
Is that
Sorry.
we can
That's
make that
another
an
one. Yeah,
app.
that's a.
But
Where you
this
get like
segment's-
boyfriend twins and they're two bears and they show up. It's like with food, Grubhub.
But this episode's about music.
Okay,
segment.
it's about music.
Well, I wanted to see. We talked about the segment a lot in the whole production because I hoodwinked you.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Jeremiah thought I would be interviewing him about music, your music, and your experience with it all.
That wasn't what I thought.
What did you think?
I thought it was no. It wasn't going to be about my music and my experience because they don't need to know that I do music and have albums out there and I'm available on Spotify and Tidal. And
So
everywhere.
excited
Go
for
check it
December.
out. What's going on in December?
No,
Oh
okay,
no!
wait,
See what you're never. Would it never
Bleep
gave?
it out, bleep it out, bleep it out,
Would
bleep
it
it out.
never gave? We came and bleep it out. This is live.
No, it's not.
Okay. Nothing's coming out in December.
Don't stop saying it then.
I'm saying the truth.
Okay.
Nevertheless, I thought you hoodwinked me because I thought that this is going to be one little encapsulated portion about music, of which I was nervous about because I'm not a music critic.
Mm-hmm.
It turned into a series of events. They're fortunate.
A series, period. So the hope is, and with everybody who's watching, who's gonna rave and be like, Jeremiah's was my favorite segment. And then we're gonna have Jeremiah come back and talk more about music. Not from a critical point of view, right? Because that was a big conversation we had too.
Yeah, I think I have this like delusion of like not being critical, and I'm really diplomatic. I'm pretty critical. Where's my fan at? I want to know.
See, I feel criticized right now for having a fan.
But no, I'm a fan of music, and so and I'm a fan of like the art form, I guess. And so
So what this is not going to give is so much criticism on music, right? If anything, appreciation.
who knows what it's gonna give?
It's gonna give you coming back next episode.
Like, share, subscribe.
What are you thinking in terms of titles? We're workshopping this, y'all.
Yeah, we are. Okay, so it's all about the process. Titles for this segment.
Mm-hmm. Jeremiah's jukebox Jeremiah.
I mean, it could be like the.
It's okay, we'll get there.
Oh God, I was really practicing for Snatch Game.
Oh.
Sorry.
I saw you had a lot to say about that.
Oh,
Oh my god, we should do like a RuPaul segment, but also that.
Oh, RuPaul's music. Let's do that.
You
Yeah.
had,
That's it.
you had a lot to say about what was it? Catwalk? Was that the name of it?
Catwalk.
No.
Okay, yes. The lead single off
Yeah.
of Mama Ru album.
Mhm.
Yes, I did have a lot to say. It was the first time I was like, oh, this is.
What was it? Blame It on the Edit.
Blame It on the Other was the.
You
that
liked
was,
that one,
Oh, that
huh?
was that first? I forgot which one was lead, but I did like that one. I liked
Mhm.
all of the singles that she put out before she dropped the album. for
Did you listen to
sure.
the album?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I listened to it multiple times, like in the
Wow.
car. Like it was part of my lifestyle.
Oh,
like,
damn.
yeah, for when I was listening to it, and I think something else came out. But no, I really liked Blame It on the Edit. It sounded like she was talking shit, very bombastic, very. I was like, oh, okay, who wrote this verse for her? I don't know if Ru writes her music or
I
not.
don't think so. She doesn't need to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
You know.
she's-
So.
There's a lot of things she doesn't need to do, apparently.
But the production was on some other stuff too. I mean, Catwalk
And the
sounded
video.
like, she typically does like a lot of vocal processing. And one thing I like about Ru, and even in her discography, is like, she's the queen of drag, right? So it's
Mhm.
like patina, person, like, and I mean this persona, and she's the one that is teaching all the girls how to do that, And
Mhm.
so even in her styles, like when she does different styles, it's like the drag version of that, but it's in a really like polished way, probably because of the money.
Yeah, that always helps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lucian or whoever's writing that stuff. Like,
I don't think it's Lucian anymore.
no.
It's definitely not.
No, actually, I think I don't even want to. I wish we had notes because there's a co-writer on the entire album. Like it's
Mhm.
the same person. I forgot their name. It escapes me, but yeah, she kind of does that.
I think the
repeatedly.
last thing Lucian did for her was the Sissy That Walk album, which They still use To See That Walk for like everything too.
They do.
Yeah.
It's my
But
boyfriend's
Catwalk
favorite
is
song.
better. I love Catwalk.
Catwalk, the vibe, like
Yeah.
it was just like, yeah,
Mhm.
remember what I told ya. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh shit, like,
we don't have the rights.
oh, she's singing. No, it's a cover.
Yeah.
We don't need the rights.
Mhm. Okay, perfect. You know.
But yeah, I mean, even that, like that song was well written. I mean, the mix was like fire. It wasn't like clunky, and it was like, you know, it was pop, and it was, you know, that's done by so many different people. But you know, it was refreshing to hear
Mhm.
it. Um, I mean, I'm not. I don't know her whole discography. I wouldn't say I'm like, you know, a Ruth stan, so you know they can come for me if they want, her fans. But this was I kind of like clumsily was like, oh shit, a real song. Like in no shade, no, not like, because I say a real song as in like I wouldn't think like, oh, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like, you know, I'm looking at it very, very shallowly. Like, okay, drag persona, this style of song. Catwalk, that single is just ill. Like,
Mhm.
it's like, oh, this is.
It's interesting you say that because there's a lot of discussion about like because the queens go on Drag Race and then they like release music, but then they say things, and I want to hear what you have to say about it too because there's two sides to it, both positive and negative on either side. That it's drag music. So like when Alaska releases a song, it's drag music. And I think Bob is the one that says. So people say like it's a bad thing to title it as drag music, and then Bob says, I don't necessarily think like she does think drag music exists, but it's not necessarily bad, and that she loves it. What do you think about that? Like, do you think it's negative?
I think there's a lot of
A
levels.
lot of
There's a
nuance
lot
to
of
it.
a lot of nuance. Yeah, like, so, like, you know, you could find my music in a particular niche that's not really that I don't think is a genre. Like,
Mhm.
it's in like, it's been categorized in like, you know, Christian hip hop music, and there's this big wave of people like, oh, this is our genre. This is this. I never came from that. I'm like, this is hip hop. So it's kind of like this, like a subgenre niche based on content, but not based on like composition of music. It's still hip hop. It's still 4/4 time. It's still drums. It's hip hop.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking about that when I'm thinking about these kind of subgenres like drag music. Okay, so what is drag music? Like what constitutes a genre? Because in my opinion, a genre is like composition,
Mhm.
you know. But these drag queens are like rapping.
Yeah. I think about like Evie Oddly, who's trying like doing hip hop rap music. I don't. Have you heard Evie's stuff?
Uh-uh.
It's pretty good. She has songs with like Vanjie on it, and I never thought I'd want to listen to a song with Vanjie on it because, you know, I love Vanjie. She's fun, but it just caught me off guard. But no, I agree. And something that was said too is that it's a good thing that it has kind of if you want to say that it is drag music, if that's the genre, some people would say it's a good thing that drag artists have like carved out their own lane and kind of ran with it. I mean, that's what RuPaul really did.
You sure did. I mean, that's
Mhm.
what you do now. You honestly, you make your own hype. You make up your own genre and you put it out. As long as you're consistent in it and people, you can make some sort of definition, then run with it. I I don't like, what is drag music? Do you have to be a drag queen to make it? Is it music for drag queens? Like, that's the
Right.
part that's like, maybe it might need some, like, as time goes, and if this keeps on going, it'll maybe like form itself by whatever, like, you know,
Yeah.
whatever it
We
develops
talked about
as.
Lucian. He's not a drag queen, but he produced those songs
Right.
and they're drag music.
What is drag music?
Exactly. Like To See That Walk is what comes to mind.
Yeah. So in short, like, you know, I don't think there's a drag music.
Yeah.
I do see I do see the need to. I'd see it more as like kind of an industry type thing, like carve out a niche, and that way you can like have some power and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, do your own thing with it. It's just the gatekeeping side that you have to look at down the line. Like, okay,
Keep Gaslight Girl Boss.
yeah.
I heard you mention something about your music. What's that?
I'm a hip hop MC.
Really?
Mhm.
Where can we find your stuff?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. My stage name is Jay Givens, and everywhere. Yes,
What would
everywhere.
you like? Because I want to talk about it too, from my end at least. What did you grow up listening to? That kind of because would you say you love music?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's why you're here.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
grew up listening to. I mean, from what my parents like. I don't know. My favorite group is Outkast. You
I
know,
didn't know that about you.
yeah, that's my absolute favorite. Andre's my favorite rapper next to Kanye, who's shaped. You know, College Dropout came out when I was 14, 15, and so College Dropout came out. Hold on. Okay, my Timex was Timexing.
Okay.
Um, but so like I mean, but any like hip hop. I mean, I grew up in a black household, so like I mean, every like soul, Marvin Gaye, anything to the main ingredients to Parliament to But I came up also in middle school. I started in the string orchestra, so then I jumped into like classical, which was like honestly Kanye coming in at that time with instrumentation. He really like shaped the shit out of my entire like music like learning from like middle school on. Even in his production before like College Dropout, like implementing like strings like in like the 2000s, that like that, and then everything else. I mean, I like all music. I mean, I was a super fan of I like kind of punk. I love like I'll go to Panic to Fall Out Boy. Nirvana. Classic shit. I like stuff that sounds good. I fucking love Tyler the Creator. Can I cuss this much? I think I can.
You'll be fine.
We'll just put a little parental advisory sticker. The parental advisory sticker is actually racist.
No.
Yeah, right. I think if I'm not mistaken, it actually was implemented and like pushed forward when NWA came out.
Really?
So it's like it was definitely a pushback because of rap music and specifically them.
So is it still like one of those things where like a queer piece of TV comes out and even if it's just kissing or heavy grinding, it's immediately rated R, where it's easier for an explicit label to be placed on like a black artist music?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Oh,
for
damn.
sure. For sure. And I mean, and oppress people. I mean, it's censorship, right?
Yeah.
It's like don't say gay. Don't say it.
That was this segment. We just talked about that, no?
Huh?
No, we were practicing earlier.
we're workshopping.
It's
We're
been a long day.
workshopping.
We've been in this room all day.
Kind of sweaty.
Yeah, these lights. I mean, I look great, but they're really warm. I'm glad that you mentioned also you like punk. I feel like a lot of people they hear or that question like, what did you listen to growing up? And for whatever reason, people want to think Lady Gaga is like, I don't know why.
Lady Gaga,
but
she's nice.
I'm doing a bit because she's on the shirt.
She's nice.
No, but like for me, it was because I always heard reggaeton growing up, Daddy Yankee and Wisin y Yandel. Like that's what that was in
You
my
grew up
head.
listening to Daddy Yankee?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, because like any like Latina artist that my mom like a lot of banda as well.
You like Pitbull?
But I think it's like, off topic but also on topic. Do you think I know the answer? Do you think Pitbull's hot?
Okay, I'm trying to figure out if it's like if he's hot or if he could like. Would I be like, sure, why not?
Okay, yeah.
Like okay, if I'm on one of those apps, say Grubhub, and he pops up, am I gonna be like, no, you gotta leave or come in? I'll be like, come in.
Yeah, but if it's like express delivery, it's like free shipping.
I don't know. Did he
Then
hit
I'm
me at
definitely
first?
doing
I don't
it.
know. He's cute. What?
Mr. Worldwide?
I'm a sucker for the baldies.
That's why I asked. But no, so like
You
for
just gotta
me,
be quiet though. He's
yeah.
talking to you a lot. Like, all right, be quiet.
I don't want to hear him. I don't really like his music too much. So no, to answer your original question, no, I don't like Pitbull too much. But it was interesting because my cousins, they introduced me to my first musical obsession, which was Linkin Park.
Oh.
Yeah, and to this day, I still really, really like Linkin Park. I feel like Steven just kind of shook his head in the back a little bit because I also talk about like the Front Bottoms right now are like my favorite band, and it's very like
They are your favorite.
I know I love them, but they're very like white trash. Like Spotify.
You got some white trash fetish going on.
Oh no, I thought I left that in college. It'll follow me.
It doesn't leave.
No, but I do still visit San Diego. We're bleeping that out.
Oh.
But
visit where?
Nowhere. But Spotify dragged me. The Spotify what is it? The end of the year thing. One of the
your listens or if you're
Wrapped.
Yeah.
One of my top genres was Midwest emo. And it really struck me to my core because again, and I can't stop talking about it today. Apparently, I'm from Ohio, so as much as I want to leave that behind,
Mr. Kid Cudi.
I do love.
Is
Kid
that
Cudi.
Midwest emo? What is Midwest emo?
Again, I think as far as Spotify goes, they're just like encapsulating everything into everything.
Oh, they're creating genres.
Yeah, I could have sworn that I didn't see dance pop at all last year. But then every gay posting on their story, dance pop was like their number one. Like a lot of people, including mine, Chromatica was it. So I was really confused about that. I think they're just making them up, including Midwest emo.
Midwest emo. That's like Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah.
They pretty emo.
Okay. They have the number
And
one
they
song when I was born.
from the place where you were born.
Really?
They're from Ohio.
I didn't know that. I don't listen.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have that and Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
And Machine Gun Kelly.
Uh,
I stand alone in that in this
yeah,
office.
you
It's
do.
fine. It's
You do.
fine.
What do you think about Eminem? Speaking of Machine Gun Kelly, why'd I do that? Messy.
We were just doing Roman Reloaded before we started recording too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He said the F word in there.
Yeah, that's why I skipped through it, and that's why I don't know it as well.
Yeah.
But if I need to pull it out of karaoke, I will.
I'm not Jasmine.
What do you do at karaoke?
I sing.
Yeah,
I do
but, like,
Usher. Let it burn.
Usher?
Easy. Easy Usher.
Okay.
That's
your go-to?
I don't really have a go-to.
Mm.
I just remember doing Let It Burn one time and I was wasted and I had a blast. And the
Yeah.
whole club was, everybody was, they were coming out of their booths. We need to do that. We need to go to
We're-
Louisville and do that.
Well, we're working on doing a karaoke night here in the studio and everything. I mean, we wouldn't use these mics. These are expensive.
No, we're gonna use karaoke mics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have that thing right there. Y'all can't see it, but
Unless we
it's
record
there.
it. What if we record it like karaoke and then we record it and then we keep the rights and then put it on Reach LA's? What?
Yeah, no, yeah.
And then all of the royalties will go to community.
We're having fun, and Jeremiah can't stop working. Jeremiah's like, what if we do this for community now?
We have them scan a QR code at the beginning.
Oh my
and then like
gosh.
and then we put like this like contract on like this really little font so they don't see they're like we own it, but then they
Yeah.
come and have fun. They don't know.
We have the proprietor. Help me out.
A proprietary
Rights.
rights.
Thank
yes,
you.
yes. Perpetuity is the P word that we need to make sure we have on a little font.
Back to music. I can't get you out of that office.
I went to the industry.
Oh my god. So another thing that I had in mind to when you wholeheartedly agreed to being on all 12 episodes of this podcast.
12? It was 10.
We don't know that yet. We're in beta.
It's 24.
60?
I'm just saying numbers. 60.
Who does that?
Who knows?
So I wanted to include, so we want to make a playlist of songs that you would recommend. Not you would recommend. That comes with a lot, you know? So
Yeah.
I would just say, what have you been listening to this week?
I listened to Lucky Day's album at release. That's
Okay.
really great. I like it. I listen to Easy over and over again by Kanye just because that's just ridiculous.
Mhm.
Like, and then, you know, I mean, all of this stuff in the news about it is what it is, but you know, the song is dope and the video's fire. Let's see, what else? I don't know. I listen to old stuff.
I mean,
I listen to Brandy.
Put the children on.
Jasmine Sullivan, Motels. That went hard.
So I'm assuming I'm adding all of these to the playlist.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then maybe we can also like reach out to the community and say like, hey, what are you listening to? What do you want to hear? I
Yeah.
think one thing at Reach that I really am looking forward to is okay, we get all this data, right? And we get like, okay, we have incentivized testing and we have like incentivized prep and we have wellness checks and
Call
all of
us.
these services here. What else does the community want to hear? We have everything we like. What else does the community want to hear? But also, like, how can the things that we don't think about that we
Mhm.
want to profile from community? I guess what do they want to hear? I guess it's music, right? Maybe the title can be something with ears.
Okay.
I don't know. Reach around all ears. I don't know. Is there an innuendo with ears?
Oh, there has to be.
There has to
There's
be
an innuendo
one.
for everything. I'm sure Steven just thought about 10 behind the camera.
Some corn
He's still
cob
here,
or
y'all.
something like that. He's still here. Okay. But finding out like, okay, really like what's everybody listening to and what can we curate that's gonna add to like the pizzas here at Grubhub.
Okay, cute. I mean, I'm thinking of a couple things already, but I mean, y'all watching, this has been a long episode, but y'all have committed to it because you love us that much. Let us know in the comments below. This is going on YouTube. They can do that.
Oh, it's going on YouTube. They
I
can put it. Yes.
I never thought I'd be that person. Comment down below. What do you want to see?
Like, share, subscribe.
What have I been listening to this week? Great question, Jeremiah.
I'm a Gemini too, so I'm sorry. You're on your own. It's the camera and me.
And I have a Leo moon. I'll set myself up if I have to. So, I mean, we brought it up earlier, but the Chromatica ball is coming. So I've just been listening to that. Dawn of
Oh.
Chromatica, though.
Are you going?
Yeah, we bought tickets.
Oh,
It was a lot. I don't want to talk about that part of it, but we got really good seats too.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Like I said, we've been talking about it for years.
What's your favorite record on
Okay, can I do one from the standard and one from the remix?
that? Okay.
Yes. So for the standard, I'm gonna give it to, at least right now, and I feel like Steven's gonna roll his eyes, is the Target Deluxe song "Love Me Right."
Okay.
It's so good because it's the slowest one on the album because there's no ballads in Chromatica apparently. But then on the remix album, I'm gonna give it to there's Dorian Electra. I think that's not the producer from Brazil. That's Pablo Vittar, but Dorian Electra did this like punk electro remix to uh Replay. Ooh, it's so good. It really does it for me. It really does it for me. Because it's Gaga and it's still
Oh,
like
what does it do?
you don't want to know.
I'm asking.
It makes me want to get on Grubhub.
Oh, it does it. I thought it just make you want to dance a little.
No. Oh, wait. Have you ever listened to 100 Gex? How do you feel about hyper pop?
100 Gex?
100 Gex.
No.
Gecs.
No, I'm like a punk lobby. Like,
Okay.
I know.
No,
So
no.
we're going deep into the.
This is more hyper pop
Okay.
than anything, and it is. I feel so. I have a friend. We play video games on Discord. Jake. He's gonna watch this because he supports me in everything I do. His brother also plays video games, and he's like next to him. And I say something about 100 Gex because it's very there's this meme where it's when you give your non-binary friend they them he him pronouns the aux cord. You give them the aux cord and it is just this like aggressive pounding like EDM that is just hyper pop, and I'll show you them because 100 Gex is very that. And it's abrasive. I definitely don't give it to anything.
Like sonically abrasive or like lyrically abrasive?
Sonically.
Okay.
Lyrically, it's not really doing much. I'm not gonna lie.
Like Nicki.
One of them is called "Stupid Horse," and at one point they just dropped the. At one point they're talking about dropping the jockey to the floor and punching him in his face. It does. I don't understand it, but it does a lot.
I mean, that's what they deserve sometimes. But is it the jockey's fault or is it the owner of the horse that's racing's fault? Like, because the jockey's just doing their job, but like
horse racing is not great.
No,
those horses
really
are very
bad.
mistreated.
You know,
Mhm.
yeah. But is it the job? You know, like or.
I'm gonna show you 100 Gex. I'd like to see what you think about that. Like I was saying, his friend was like, "You like 100? What's wrong with you?" And not that it's like not that the music is. Not, I was gonna say not that the music is bad because sometimes I'm like listening to it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. But I don't know. It scratches a certain part of my brain. Is how I feel about it.
The internal rage that
Mhm.
needs to.
Yes. All right. So I think we're good here.
I'm
but-
still thinking about jockeys on horses.
So this is the last segment for the podcast. Thank you all for sticking through it. Like we said, this has been a pretty long episode.
Thanks for having me.
You're gonna be here next time.
I
You've had so
know,
much fun.
I know. We're workshopping. We're gonna workshop throughout. Yeah.
This is something. So we're gonna be releasing bi-weekly. The next episode will be coming out in 2 weeks from today.
That's what bi-weekly means.
Yeah. So I'm saying that.
A fortnight. During the podcast, they can.
We recognize it's been a pretty long episode, so we're gonna edit down a little bit in the future, y'all. But there's definitely gonna still be enough of us, and this is gonna be ever evolving. We appreciate everybody that has listened and watched. Let us know what more you want to see.
Yeah.
Like Jeremiah was saying.
And that new Megan Thee Stallion Dua Lipa song.
I haven't listened.
I played it
Sweetest
once.
Pie.
I played it once.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it's Sweetest Pie.
Only once?
Sweetest, yeah, only once.
No revisit?
I didn't.
Okay.
I may go back though. I like Meg. I like Meg.
Yeah.
I like Dua Lipa too, but
Dua-
that just seemed kind of.
Dua Lipa for me is I just didn't really care for future nostalgia too much. I will say Physical and the lead single are like pop perfection. They're so good. So good. And we'll stick to that.
See,
All right.
more songs for the playlist.
I know. Okay. Oh my God. I'm the one that's gonna make this playlist. So more work for myself. We were cutting off. We're finishing.
Yeah, we're at like 28 minutes.
It's almost like you're so excited for the next
All right,
episode
25.
to talk more about music.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think this is good. We're still workshopping though.
Nah, I think we did great.
We're workshopping.
All right, we'll see y'all in a couple weeks. Again, call us, Google us, Reach LA. Follow us on Instagram at Reach_LA. DM us so you can get that incentivized HIV tests. We will mail out a kit if you really like. And then we email you the gift card. So yeah, thanks y'all for coming and watching our bits, our segments.
You can just let them know it was a cutaway.
It was a
Like,
cutaway.
it wasn't one take, but it's a cutaway, guys.
Okay, yeah, we messed up a little bit, or I messed up a little bit.
We messed up. It's fine.
Just to let y'all know, Mondays we have the mix up, which
Mix
you saw
up.
me and Steven do, and and Mondays as well. That was the same mix up.
Oh yeah.
On Mondays as well, we have Petals with Sandy. So make sure you come by